What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about some tips and tricks around haircut basics. I'm going to start off by saying that this video is for those who probably never cut hair before. So I compiled a list of questions that are commonly asked around the barber tutorials and different haircut videos out on the web. Please check it out. We're going to be covering each and one of these on the next couple of slides. So the first question is, can anyone cut hair? Yes, anyone can cut hair. That does not mean that you can give a decent haircut. There's a big difference. It does require a lot of skill, a lot of patience, a lot of practice. I'd suggest checking out YouTube tutorials and cutting your own hair. Maybe cut people in your household. That's the only way you're going to get better. Now, when you check out these videos, you're going to notice that these barbers or these people cutting hair are using a lot of tools, starting with adjustable clippers. They're also going to be using a variety of trimmers. You can see all kinds of trimmers, but this one's probably one of the most popular ones. You're also going to see them using shavers. This allows for bald fades, or for you to be able to go down below the stubble when you're cutting hair. And another notable mention is going to be brushes and combs. These are much more important than most people make them out to be. They help you see what's underneath the hair that you're cutting and also style the hair. Now, for being 100% honest, if you're at home and you're cutting hair, you probably don't have a shaver. You probably don't have a trimmer. And the reality is you probably don't need either or if this is the first couple times you're cutting hair or you're doing self-cuts. These are the only three tools you technically need. But there are benefits specifically to the trimmer. The edge up that you see on this picture cannot be achieved without a trimmer, and you can get closer to the skin. Moving along into the guard systems, this can be one of the most overwhelming things out there when it comes to cutting hair. There are so many different options in colors, sizes, shapes. Some of them are specific to Andis, some of them are specific to Wahl. So, when you're cutting hair, a lot of times, on a positive note, the machine you have will have its own guards. And the way that they work is they go from a larger size to a smaller size, so a smaller size to a larger size. And they work hand in hand. So you'll see here, we go from the number 2 guard to the 1.5 to the 1 to the half guard. The number 2 being the thickest and the one that will cut the length of the hair at longest, and the half, which will cut the shortest to the actual head. Now, when it comes to putting on the guards, basically a 3-step process. You want to center the guard, hook it to the top teeth, and snap it down nice and tight at the bottom. Next, we'll be covering the adjustable lever, which is key to being able to give a smooth and blended haircut. What you're going to see is 3 basic positions. First, going with the open lever, which moves the cutting blade furthest from the tip of the still blade, this way giving you a longer length in hair as you're cutting through. There is also the closed position, and you notice how the cutting blade is the closest to the still blade. Now you're going to get a lot closer to the head. The hair will be cut a lot shorter. And then obviously there's intermediate positions. The most common one being right in the middle, which we're going to show you here. Pretty self-explanatory. You're right in between all the way open and all the way closed. And then there is that middle position between the middle and the open and the middle and the closed. If you watched a haircut tutorial, you've probably heard the terms fading up and fading down. Fading down would mean you start up at the number 2 and you work yourself down through the different guards and steps all the way down to a shaver, versus fading up would mean you start with the trimmer and shaver and then move on to the no guard, half, 1, 1.5, then 2. Which brings us to the next question. Do I cut with the grain or against the grain? Most commonly, you're going to be cutting against the grain. What does that mean though? So notice how the hair grows in a pattern where it starts at the top and it just flattens down to the head as it grows towards the bottom. If my blade is going against that hair, that means I'm cutting against the grain. If I flip my blade around, that means I would be cutting with the grain. And last but not least, some blade terminology. So the still blade is the larger blade, as you can see on this picture. The cutting blade is the blade that moves up and down and side to side and gets closest to the tip of the actual still blade. When it gets really, really close, almost to where it's flush, that is what people call zero gapped. And that is it for today's video. Definitely not for everybody, but I think it's important for this content to be out there. I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and that notification bell, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.